400 million years ago, everything wore armor. Even the squids, yes, squids, were walking around in giant cone shells. And then, evolution just gave up on it. Look around today. What do you see? Deer, wolves, eagles, elephants, whales, humans, naked, soft, completely unprotected, and they're winning. Meanwhile, the few armored survivors left, turtles, armadillos, pangolins, are rare, struggling. Some are literally the most endangered animals on Earth. This makes zero sense. Why would nature spend hundreds of millions of years perfecting the ultimate shield, only to look at it one day and say, delete all of it? Armor worked. For 500 million years, it was the answer to every problem evolution could throw at you. So what changed? Why did the most successful survival strategy in Earth's history become a death sentence? And the creatures that refused to give up their armor? They're fossils now. This is the story of why evolution abandoned the ultimate shield. Before dinosaurs and anything walked on land, the ocean was a war zone. And the winners? All wearing armor, like placoderms. These were fish with tanks for faces, thick interlocking bone plates covering their entire head and torso. Not shells, solid rock fused to their skulls. For 50 million years, they owned the ocean. And the king of them all? Dunkleosteus, 20 feet of pure nightmare. A head so armored that nothing could crack it open. Jaws that didn't even have teeth. Instead, massive bone blades that sharpened themselves every time they closed. Bite force? Nearly as strong as a T-Rex. And the terrifying part, Dunkleosteus didn't evolve that bite to hunt soft fish. It evolved that bite to punch through the armor of other armored fish. This was an arms race. Everyone had shields, so everyone needed bigger hammers. And back then, it worked. Predators were slow, clumsy. Their jaws were pathetic. In a world where everything just drifted around lazily, armor was the ultimate cheat code. You didn't need brains. You just needed to be too hard to swallow. But here's the thing about unbeatable strategies. They always have a cost. And armor? The bill was about to come due. Armor was not like putting on a jacket. You can't take it off when you're tired. You can't drop it when you need to run. It's part of you, forever. And your body has to build it every single day. Think about that. Those bone plates? They don't grow from nothing. Your body has to pull minerals from your blood, steal calories from your muscles, divert energy away from your brain, your heart, your organs, just to maintain a shield you might not even use today. Armor is a subscription you can't cancel. You're paying for protection 24 hours a day, whether a predator shows up or not. And the cost? It breaks you in ways you don't expect. Strap several pounds of solid bone to your face. Now try to chase something. Try to turn quickly. You can't. You're a vault with fins. Great at staying safe. Terrible at literally everything else. But it gets worse. Growing bone armor burns through calories like nothing else. These armored fish weren't just eating to survive. They were eating to maintain their shields. Miss a few meals? Your body starts eating the armor from the inside. And this is the killer. You're stuck. Your skeleton is on the outside. Your shape is locked. You can't evolve a sleeker body. Can't develop a faster tail, can't adapt to anything. Your body becomes a prison. The thing protecting you is the same thing trapping you. For millions of years, none of this mattered. Armor was still worth it, but evolution doesn't stand still. And predators? They were about to figure out how to crack the vault wide open. Some fish evolved jaws like industrial crushers, flat, massive, designed to grab you once and turn your shield into powder. No skill, just one bite and your armor becomes gravel. But the real nightmare came from something you'd never suspect. Snails, slow, weak, practically harmless. Except these snails evolved a drill, part acid, part razor tongue. They'd park themselves on a shell and just start grinding, hour after hour, carving a perfect tiny hole through inches of armor. Then they'd liquefy the insides and slurp it out like a smoothie. All that armor, all those calories spent building it, millions of years of evolution, beaten by a snail with nothing but time. This changed everything. Armor wasn't failing because predators got stronger. It was failing because they stopped fighting it and started solving it. crushers for the tough ones, drills for the thick ones, and for everything else, a new strategy entirely. Some predators looked at all that armor and thought, why bother? Why waste energy cracking a vault when you can just leave it behind? They stopped building bigger jaws, started building faster bodies, leaner, lighter, streamlined for speed. And suddenly, the armored tanks faced a problem they'd never seen before. They weren't losing fights, they were watching dinner swim away. Here's the thing about running away. It's cheap. Armor costs you every second of every day. Your body bleeds energy just keeping those plates attached. Eating, sleeping, swimming, doesn't matter. You're always paying. But speed? Speed is pay as you go. You only burn energy when something is actually chasing you. Rest of the time, you're light, efficient, free. Think about it. An armored fish has to eat constantly just to maintain a shield it might never use. A fast fish eats the same meal and puts it toward growing longer fins, stronger muscles, sharper senses. Same calories, completely different investment. And when a predator shows up, the armored fish sits there, hoping its shield holds, praying the attacker gives up. The fast fish? Gone. Vanished before the predator even gets close. It doesn't matter how soft your skin is if nothing can touch it. This realization broke the game wide open. Suddenly, creatures started evolving in a completely different direction. The ocean stopped being a demolition derby. It became a race. And races have a brutal rule. Second place gets eaten. Predators evolved to be faster, so prey evolved to be faster, so predators evolved to be even faster. An arms race. Except nobody was building arms anymore. They were building engines. The heavily armored creatures watched all of this happen. They couldn't join. Their bodies wouldn't let them. Every plate that once saved their life was now an anchor dragging them down. The creatures that dominated for 300 million years were suddenly irrelevant. Not because they lost fights, because fights stopped mattering. In the new world, you either outran danger or you became food for something that could. But here's the fact. When animals ditched armor, they didn't just save energy. They had a surplus. Millions of calories that used to go into bone plates were suddenly available. And evolution got creative with the savings. Some animals invested in their eyes, bigger, sharper, able to spot a predator from distances that armored creatures couldn't even process. Why build a wall when you can see danger coming from a mile away and just leave? Some invested in their ears, hunters coming from behind. You'd hear them before they got anywhere close. Early warning systems beat shields every single time. Others put the budget into their brains. This is where things get interesting. Brains are expensive, incredibly expensive. They burn through energy like nothing else in your body. An armored animal could never afford a big brain. Too many resources locked up in bone. But a soft, lightweight animal? Plenty of budget left over. Bigger brains meant better problem solving, reading predator patterns, remembering safe zones, working in groups, communicating danger. You don't need armor when you can outsmart the thing trying to kill you. And then there's the most brutal investment of all. Reproduction. Armored animals have a problem. Building all that protection takes time. Their babies grow slow. They have fewer offspring. Every single one is precious. Lose a few. The whole species suffers. Soft animals flip this equation entirely. Instead of building a few indestructible tanks, they built armies, hundreds of offspring, thousands, millions. Sure, a lot of them get eaten. That's the point. You can't eat all of them. Some always survive, and those survivors make more survivors. It's brutal math. But it works. One armored animal with a 10-year investment gets eaten. Tragedy. Entire genetic line erased. One soft animal out of 1,000 gets eaten. Rounding error. The species doesn't even notice. This is how soft took over, not by winning fights, by outseeing, outthinking, and outbreeding everything with a shell. The age of the tank was ending, and the age of the brain was just beginning. But what about the armored creatures watching all this happen? The ones who couldn't ditch their shields? They had a choice: adapt or disappear. Mass extinctions don't care how tough you are. Asteroid hits, oceans lose oxygen, Temperatures swing wildly, food vanishes overnight. In those moments, being unkillable means nothing. What matters? Being able to change. And armored animals? They couldn't change. Not even a little. Think about what happens when disaster strikes. The water gets warmer. Your old food sources die off. New ones appear somewhere else. The animals that survive are the ones that can move, adapt, shift to new diets, new places, new strategies. Soft-bodied creatures? They're like clay. Squeeze them, stretch them, mold them into whatever the new world needs. In a few million years, they can become almost anything. Armored creatures? They're like statues. Beautiful, impressive, completely unable to bend. When the world changed, they shattered. The placoderms, those unstoppable armored fish that ruled for 50 million years. Gone. Every single one. Wiped out in the late Devonian extinction. And who survived? The soft, squishy, weaker fish, the ones with no armor at all? Sharks. They watched the armored titans rule, and they watched them die. Then, they took over. Not because they won some epic battle, but because when everything collapsed, they could adapt. The armored fish couldn't. But the ocean wasn't the only graveyard for tanks. On land, the same story was playing out. Ankylosaurus, built like a living fortress, bone plates covering its entire body. A tail club that could shatter bones with a single swing. Nothing, not even a T-Rex, wanted to mess with that. For millions of years, these armored giants dominated. Then, the asteroid hit. And when the dust settled, something strange had happened. The armored dinosaurs? Gone. Every single one, but the ones with no protection at all? They survived. We call them birds now. And 66 million years later, they're everywhere. The pattern kept repeating. The giant armored glyptodonts, 2-ton mammals with shells so thick a sword couldn't pierce them, dominated South America for millions of years. Then humans showed up. Did we crack their armor? Fight them head on? Nope. We just flipped them over. Their soft bellies were completely exposed. All that protection on top meant nothing when the threat came from a different angle. We ate them, then used their armor as homes. Entire families living inside what used to be an invincible animal. Gone. 10,000 years ago, every single one. Armor works until it doesn't. And when it fails completely. The animals that bet everything on defense found themselves with nothing when the rules changed. But not all armored creatures went extinct. A few figured out something the others didn't. A loophole. So if armor is such a death sentence, why do turtles still exist? Why are armadillos still wandering around Texas? Because they found the cheat code. Armor doesn't work in a high-speed world. We've established that. When everything is fast, being slow gets you killed. But what if you don't live in a high-speed world? That's exactly what the survivors did. Turtles didn't try to outrun anything. They found ponds, swamps, slow-moving rivers, places where the top predators weren't cheetahs or sharks. They were herons, raccoons, things that couldn't crack a shell if their life depended on it. In that world, armor is still king. Your shell doesn't need to stop a T-Rex. It just needs to be slightly tougher than whatever's trying to eat you today. Crabs did the same thing. Ocean floor, tide pools, crevices between rocks. Places where the big fast predators don't bother hunting because the calories aren't worth the effort. Hide in a slow lane, and suddenly being a tank works again. Armadillos took a different approach. They kept the armor, but they also learned to run. Most people don't know this. Armadillos can hit 30 miles per hour when they're scared. That shell on their back? It's not their main defense, it's their backup. Something chasing them? They vanish into a burrow before you can blink. That doesn't work? Then they roll into a ball. They didn't abandon speed for armor. They kept both, belt and suspenders. 2 escape plans instead of 1. And then there's the pangolin, covered head to toe in scales made of keratin, the same stuff as your fingernails. When threatened, it curls into a ball so tight that lions have broken teeth trying to get through. Pangolins hunt at night when predators are sleeping. They dig burrows and avoid every fight they can. The armor isn't their strategy. It's their last resort. Every armored survivor figured out the same trick. Don't rely on the shell. Use it as insurance, not identity. The creatures that made armor their entire personality. Their bones in museums, the ones that treated it as one tool among many. Still here. But wait, what about the big successful animals today? The ones with no shells at all? Did they really give up on protection completely? Not exactly. Look at the most successful animals on Earth right now. Not a single shell in sight, just skin. But here's the twist. They're not actually unprotected. They just evolved smarter armor. Take whales, no plates, no bones on the outside, just smooth skin and fat. A lot of fat. That blubber isn't just for warmth, it's a weapon, a foot of dense rubbery tissue between the outside world and anything important. Shark takes a bite, it's not hitting organs, it's not hitting muscle, it's chewing through what's basically a living mattress. The whale loses a chunk of fat, swims away, heals in a few weeks. That's not weakness, that's genius. Armor that fixes itself, armor that doubles as an energy reserve and doesn't slow you down. The old armored animals couldn't dream of this. And sharks? The naked predators? Run your hand down a shark's skin the wrong way. Go ahead, see what happens. Feels like sandpaper. Because it basically is sandpaper. Shark skin is covered in millions of tiny tooth-like scales called denticles. They're not there to stop bites. They're there to make the shark faster. Water flows over those scales with almost zero resistance. Every movement is smoother. Every chase is quicker. This is armor that doesn't protect you from getting hit. It makes sure you hit first. Elephants went a different direction. No shell. But skin so thick and wrinkled that most predators can't even break through. A lion biting an elephant is like you biting a leather couch. Good luck. And the wrinkles? They trap water and mud against the skin. Natural sunscreen, natural bug repellent. The skin itself became a tool. Even humans figured this out. We don't have armor, we have brains. We learn to make armor when we need it, wear it when it's useful, take it off when it's not. Flexible, adaptable, removable. Everything the old armored animals couldn't be. Evolution didn't abandon protection, it just stopped bolting it permanently to your skeleton. The new rule is simple. Stay light, fast, flexible. And if you need a shield, make sure you can drop it when it stops working. This is the question everyone asks. Could the age of armor ever come back? Here's a thought experiment. What if a fish showed up tomorrow with a face made of solid stone? Teeth can't crack it, claws bounce right off. The ultimate throwback to the age of tanks. Would it dominate? Not a chance. An orca wouldn't sit there gnawing at the shell like some ancient predator. It would just ram it. Full speed. 6 tons of muscle slamming into you at 30 miles per hour. Armor protects you from teeth. It doesn't protect you from physics. Your organs would be soup inside that beautiful shell. And that's not even the biggest problem. Today's predators aren't just strong, they're smart. Crows use tools, octopuses solve puzzles, orcas teach their children how to hunt. An armored animal shows up, they won't waste energy trying to crack it. They'll find the soft spot, flip it over, wait for it to starve, drown it in deep water. Ancient predators had one move: bite harder. Modern predators have options. For armor to work again in nature, the whole world would need to slow down. Predators would need to get dumber. The pressure to be fast and flexible would need to vanish. That's not happening. Once evolution discovered speed and brains, it never looked back. So armor's finished, right? The tank's lost. Except one species figured something out. The softest, squishiest, most defenseless creature on the planet. Skin so thin a house cat can break it. Humans. We should have been extinct ages ago. Instead, we conquered everything. And then we did something no animal had done in 400 million years. We brought armor back: helmets, shields, chainmail, Kevlar vests, tanks made of steel, buildings made of concrete. We looked at the same problem that killed the placoderms and the glyptodonts, and we cracked it. How? We made armor removable. A soldier wears protection into battle. Fight ends. Takes it off, goes home. Sleeps without a shell crushing his lungs. We get the protection without the trap. This is what hundreds of millions of years of evolution couldn't solve. Armor was never the problem. Permanent armor was the problem. Protection you can grab when danger arrives and toss aside the moment it's gone, that's the real cheat code. Light when you need speed, protected when you need safety, flexible always. The ancient tanks paid for their shields with their speed, their future, their ability to change. We pay for ours with money and hang it in a closet when we're done. Evolution tried everything: thicker plates, stronger bones, bigger shells. None of it worked long term. Turns out the solution wasn't better armor, it was a brain smart enough to build armor instead of grow it. So next time you see a turtle on the side of the road, or a pangolin curled up on a documentary, or an armadillo frozen in headlights, you're looking at survivors. The last holdouts from an age that ended millions of years ago, still wearing permanent protection in a world that moved on. But when you put on a motorcycle helmet, strap on a seatbelt, lock your door at night, you're doing what they never could, using armor the right way. Evolution didn't abandon protection, it just waited 400 million years for someone smart enough to make it optional. Hope you found this one interesting. Subscribe for more. See you next time.